you've got to make threes and so on and so forth. Some of that is a little misleading. If you're hitting twos, that's a big deal. And if you're getting to the free throw line, Purdue got to the line 22 times, Michigan 6. Now, I'm in a group chat with friends who don't like Michigan, which is fine. Again, I quote that they're my friends, so it doesn't matter to me. They are constantly referring to regular season games where Michigan is going to the line X amount of times compared to the team they're playing. I didn't hear anything from them yesterday. For some reason or another, I didn't see anything from them about Michigan getting the benefit of the doubt. They went 5 of 6 from the stripe, while Purdue went 16 of 22. Where were they? I don't know. It's a convenient memory loss for some reason or another. But Purdue's a good team, 27 wins on the year now. Kudos to them. Welcome back. X's and BrO's Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. 7:18, we've got Mitch Lyons. It's Mondays with Mitch. And at 8:18, we've got your hero and heel. All right. Freddie, our good buddy. Hope you had a good weekend. Texts us and says, does Duncan Robinson get held off the playoff roster? He was last year. This team is not shooting. It's starting to show up. No, he does not get held off. No. You don't have another 3-point consistent threat. Miami did. Tyler Hero, who's going to be a free agent, by the way. Detroit doesn't. And I know that's not always what you want to hear. And I don't blame you, because it's not what I necessarily want to hear either in terms of, and I mean, they don't have another 3-point shooting threat. But I would, his performance yesterday, inexcusable. Let me ask you this, and I know he's coming off a bit of an injury with an ankle. What about Asar Thompson? Come on, man. I mean, this is the guy everybody has to have. He's a protected player. We're not getting rid of him. Again, he's slightly injured. It's not like he's this massive offensive threat.
No, he's got to do more on offense for sure.
I mean, if this team wants to be an elite team,
they want to do anything, really.
If they, and I'm talking about for the future, Asar Thompson and Ron Holland have to establish themselves as bigger offensive threats. They're not. The offensive threats on this team are Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris, who everybody wanted out, and Duncan Robinson. Now, I know people love themselves some, Isaiah Stewart coming off the bench and all this other stuff, although he didn't play yesterday. But when Ron Holland is out there getting you 2 points, Asar Thompson's getting you 4, Kevin Huerter in a trade giving you 3, Marcus Sasser coming off the bench giving you 3. You're not going to be great all the time. I get it. I understand that. I can totally relate to what some of those guys go through once in a while. And I don't mean from being on the floor. I'm just saying you have bad days. But this has been a pretty consistent thing with these guys. And Asar Thompson is a starter in this league. All right? And when you're playing 24 minutes and giving your team 4 points, it's not going to work. He got injured against San Antonio, so I get that. Orlando, he's scoring 9. San Antonio, he's scoring 8. Toronto, he's scoring 4. Charlotte, 6. New York, 2. Come on. You can love a player, and that's great. And you respect the hell out of him because he's an unbelievable defensive player. But this team is not so gifted offensively that they can just have one of their starters drift as only a defensive player. This is not the 1989 Detroit Pistons, where you had scorers, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Mark Aguirre. You had those guys. Those guys are going to pump in points for you. So Dennis Rodman giving you defense and rebounding is fine, and he can clean up some stuff. Asar Thompson ain't Dennis Rodman. So, no, I do not think, long-winded answer, my apologies, Duncan Robinson is left off a playoff roster. Who the hell, let me ask you this. Who the hell is going to start in that space, and who's going to shoot the basketball for you? No, seriously. Now, I get it. Yesterday, 0 for 2. Remember, he had 14 points the day before, 19 the day before that, 15 the day before that. He is not he's not going to give you a bunch of points. If you're getting 12, he's going to give you 12 points a game, 12 to 14 points a game. But more than anything, he is spreading the floor and keeping you honest, opposing teams honest. Shep, Tigers fans now wish they traded Max Clark, Max Anderson, and one of their catchers for Mason Miller. I'm not sure they do. I think people like Will Vest he's not Mason Miller, but I think they like him at the back end of the bullpen. I think they like Kyle Finnegan at the back end of the bullpen. The signing of Kenley Jansen, I don't have a problem with it. I don't mind Detroit's bullpen at all. Yeah, I got a bit of an issue with perhaps how long it's taking some of their young guys to get there. I want you to think about this for a minute. I tweeted this out. Roman Anthony, who's a stud, really like him. He had the game-winning home run yesterday in a 2-1 win. He's 21. Okay? So he's 21 years old, making that type of an impact. Max Clark is 20. Kevin McGonigal's 20. So they're on pace. If you think you're frustrated at the fact that these guys are not reaching the level you thought they were going to reach, think of Roman Anthony. Last year, played some games with Boston. He had over 1,300 at-bats in the minors. Kevin McGonigal has about 900 or so. So keep that in mind, please. I think that's an important thing to remember. Roman Anthony is going to be a really, really good player. But 4 years of the minors, he had 1,135 at-bats. Kevin McGonigal, 3 years in the minors, 745. That's what I tweeted out yesterday. So I'm just trying to keep it in perspective. No, I would not have traded those young guys for Mason Miller, who I like a lot. I'm fine with how Detroit has acquired and developed certain power arms at the back end of the bullpen. Let's get to another text. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple texts rolling in regarding the Cinderella discussion we had. The first one comes from Peter. Says, good morning, Trent and Shep. A 7 and a higher is a Cinderella, a team outside the committee's top 25.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good. I appreciate that. Then let me give you a few. All right. I would say first and foremost, Hawaii. They are big and they are long. Okay. Let me give you another one. Akron. Akron's the 12 seed. They are going to play Texas Tech, but keep this in mind. Texas Tech has lost their top player in JT Toppin. So that's a possibility. Wisconsin is a team, look, they're a 5 seed, so they're not a Cinderella. But Wisconsin is a team that can be very up and down, right? Is that fair to say? I mean, when they're on, they're pretty damn good. But when they're off, they can lose to just about anybody. High Point could give them some problems as a 12 seed.
Especially if you think the 5-12 upset, there's usually at least one of those. So if you're looking at those,
yep,
there you go, Shep. That could be it.
It's really hard to deny that because of the history of those
it's a
two
trend,
seeds.
for sure.
But High Point and Akron, okay, they are both 12 seeds. All right. Let me give you one more. TCU is a 9. TCU is a scary team. Okay, so keep that in mind moving forward. All right, so there's a few that could be considered Cinderellas.
And by the way, if you think that Duke is banged up, I mean, TCU, to your point, Shep, they'd be playing Duke in the second round if they get past Ohio State. So if you think Duke goes down early,
which I think they will,
and then if you do, that TCU could very well be that team.
Yeah, I think Duke's a really good basketball team. I don't think they're as good as Arizona, but Duke being shorthanded, I said this about Michigan too. This is different than an NBA team. It's not like Duke lost their best player. It's not like Michigan has lost their best player. Texas Tech has lost its best player in JT Toppin. However, it's harder in college to overcome the loss of a top 7 player. It's a lot harder, especially in the NCAA tournament when you're expected to make a long run. All right. So I'm not thinking Duke won't make a long run. I think Duke is really good. They're going to make it to the second weekend. Whether or not they reach the Final Four, I think is very debatable because of how hard of a path they could collectively have. It's an easy path with you on Sportsbook, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 sportsbook for live betting, and it's built for March, just like your bracket is built for March. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market. this isn't a tournament you bet and forget. It's one you react to. All right. So think of this with DraftKings, the number one sports book for live betting. You're not betting what might happen. You're betting what's happening. Possession by possession, play by play, live lines, props, next play outcomes. As this March Madness chaos unfolds, the bracket will break. So don't just watch the unexpected. Why don't you bet on it? New to DraftKings, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code HUGE. That code is HUGE. Turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. This is a limited time offer. Back to the text line. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000, fire away.
Austin from Ionia says, I think number 10 Missouri has the best chance to make a run as a Cinderella. They had the 5th hardest schedule in the country as one of the best rebounding teams in the country. That'd be my pick. Otherwise, this is a very top-heavy bracket this year. Not very many upsets, in my opinion.
I like that. Man, that's somebody who really did their research. Love that. Okay. So Missouri opens with Miami. Missouri's a 10 seed. In case people don't know, obviously Austin does know. They're going to open with Miami. The winner there gets, in all likelihood, Purdue. I don't think Queens is beating Purdue. Could be wrong. It's a 2 against a 15. Doesn't happen very often, but that's the possibility. They are in the same bracket as Arizona. If you had to say which number 1 seed has the easiest path, and I use that in quotes, I think Duke has the hardest. Everybody would think that. You don't have to be biased at all. When you've got a 2 seed at UConn, who I think is really good. Michigan State is a 3 seed. Kansas is a 4 seed. St. John's is a 5 seed. No question that is the toughest bracket. Am I alone in that thought?
No.
Okay. Who has the easiest bracket of a 1 seed?
I think Florida does.
Let me give you the other seeds real quick. Arizona's the 1 out west. Okay. The 2 seed is Purdue. The 3 seed in that Western bracket is Gonzaga. And then it's Arkansas. And Arkansas opens with Hawaii. I'm not picking Hawaii. I'm just telling you, keep a lookout for them because they are big and they are long. Okay. Michigan is the 1 seed in the Midwest. Their 2 seed is Iowa State. 3 is Virginia. 4 is Bama. And then you have Florida. Florida's the 1 seed in the South. The 2 seed is Houston, who's really good. Illinois is the 3. Nebraska is the 4. Nebraska, I think, is the weakest of the 4s. I believe that Arizona has the easiest path of the 1 seeds. You think it's Florida, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because I just think if you run through the top seeds in that region, for one, Florida's the defending champs. Yeah, which you did. Yeah. And then the 2 seeds, Houston, right? They've never won it all. Not to say they couldn't beat Florida in a rematch of last year's. It would be in the Elite 8, though, I believe, right? If we get down to that. Yeah, Elite 8. But then also the 3 seeds, Illinois. I don't trust Brad Underwood in March. The 4 seeds, Nebraska. They haven't won a tournament game ever. So I just think when you run through the top seeds in that region, I trust Florida the most, which is ironic because they're the weakest of the 1 seeds in theory.
Yeah, I think Houston. I think Houston's really good. I think they're really good.
I do too. I just once you get to that point, once you get to the Elite 8, I would take Florida, but we'll see.
Yeah,
it's not like it's a home run of an answer. It's just that's how I view it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just asking, and I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, you said Houston hasn't won it. You're saying they haven't won it under Calvin Sampson, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why does that matter?
It doesn't a ton, to be honest with you, but I if I'm making a case against each one of those top 4 seeds in this region, that would be the one thing I'd say against Houston. I think Houston's very good too. I'm with you, but I think the other 2 seeds are also very strong.
Okay. Yeah. I think I don't look at it like, they haven't won.
You don't look historically at it much?
No, I don't care. I mean, if it's the same team over and over again, Michigan, for example, the Fab Five, did that play a factor that they didn't win? Maybe. It's funny how people will use, not you, but people will use that as an excuse on why they don't believe a team is ready yet because they haven't been there. But when a team does get there and they lose, then it's, well, they haven't won before.
Yeah, it's a convenience
But if they win the first time, people are like, well, wait a minute. They haven't been there before, so I don't believe in them. What is it that has to happen? Just because you've been there doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically going to take the next step.
Yeah, and that's fine too. I just also think this Houston team this year is slightly worse than last year's Houston team. But I think
might have an easier path.
Correct. And I also think the same about Florida, to your point. Like, I think this Florida team is slightly worse than last year's national championship team.
Got it. Yep. Totally understand it. It's good. It's really good. All right. When we come back, I do want to get into some things regarding the NFL. Well, the Lions, there are somebody wrote an article that judging what the Lions have done so far in free agency, and there are pieces that they still have not addressed. What are those pieces that they need? I like what they've done, quite honestly. I love that they've gotten Cade Mays. I love that they've addressed a cornerback position. But obviously, there are still things that need to be done. What do you think it is? Or can you address it in a different way? We'll get to that, plus Mondays with Mitch at 7:18. Do want to talk about the World Baseball Classic. I don't know how you can't. We're going to get to all that and more coming up here on a Monday edition of X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan. We are brought to you this hour by our friend Mitch Lyons.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Hey, when you travel, you want low fares, you want reliable service, and you want a direct flight. Avelo Air gives you all of that and more. Avelo Air has direct flights to take Tigers fans to spring training in Lakeland. Avelo Air will take you from Grand Rapids to Lakeland directly on Thursdays and Sundays. They will take you directly from Detroit to Lakeland on Wednesdays and Saturdays. You literally land 20 minutes from the ballpark. You don't have to wait in lines. You don't have to worry about any of that other hassle. This is hassle-free travel like you deserve. Go to AveloAir.com and get $20 off a base fare round-trip flight to Lakeland when you book your trip by March 31st. All you have to do is use the code HUGE. That's HUGE on AveloAir.com. Restrictions do apply. See AveloAir.com for details today.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is built for March. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards on the market, no matter what happens on the court, because this isn't a tournament you bet and forget. It's one you react to. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen, you're betting what's happening. Possession by possession, play by play, live lines, props, next play outcomes, as the chaos unfolds. The bracket will break, so don't just watch the unexpected. Bet it. New to DraftKings? Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code HUGE. That's code HUGE to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and up, Michigan only. Eligibility and restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance, so get them in. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Those two guys right there fired me up. Skeens, Gunner, Roman, it was special. Just trying to make plays. Sometimes you don't have it at the plate. You got to go out there and do it at the field. One inning at a time, one pitch at a time, just trying to win the ball game. That was fun. We're boys just having fun, enjoying this game. It's so much fun. Same thing we've been doing. If we can play our game, I like our chances.
Love this stuff that's going on right now in the World Baseball Classic. It is so much fun. Now, is it the World Series? That's a good question, because there's a lot of people who feel like, it's Aaron Judge said afterwards that it's better. It's more important than the World Series. Now, he's never won a World Series, so maybe that's part of the situation. I don't know. Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. I was caught up in it. First of all, I think it's fantastic baseball. But I will say this: it's hard to reel in people who are excited about what they do. Okay, if you hit a home run, you get a strikeout, you make a big play, you deserve to be fired up, right? The question is, at what point is it too much? And that's really in the eyes of the beholder. It's really not up to us to say, as long as you're willing to accept the results when all is said and done. So Junior Caminero hitting that home run to give the DR the early lead, which is great for them. But man, they seem to exude a lot of energy at that point. Everybody said, how are you going to manage that lineup? And Team USA did a pretty damn good job of managing that lineup. You get a team like the United States, you can criticize all you want Mark DeRosa, and we have before, but he made a couple of changes, and you got to give him credit for making the changes. Gunnar Henderson is one of those changes. He played Gunnar Henderson instead of Alex Bregman, and he played Will Smith instead of the big dumper, who was struggling mightily. Bregman was just okay. I mean, Bryce Harper hadn't been playing really well, but he played him. But Bryce Harper had good numbers off Luis Severino, and Bryce Harper did have a double down the right field line, in which Team USA kind of had a little bit of a faux pas there. They had runners at second and third with only one out. Aaron Judge struck out, and DR was able to get out of it. And that's, I noticed that on social media. It's very convenient. People immediately start to judge Aaron Judge. And I like Aaron Judge a lot. I know he's a Yankee, but I think he's a class act. I think he's a fantastic player. I thought that throw from right field to third base to gun down Tatis was phenomenal. He found a way in different ways. He hit one to deep center field and was robbed by Julio Rodriguez. It was a fantastic play. But people were they've been harsh on Aaron Judge. And I guess I would ask, if you want to do that, that's fine. Okay. Cause he doesn't have great postseason numbers in his career. I guess I would ask, how many are you getting on Juan Soto or Manny Machado or Fernando Tatis for struggling the way they did? Because it doesn't, I didn't see that. I only saw it for Judge, I did notice there's a couple of different quotes. Did you see the shot yesterday of in the dugout with Tarek Skubal in the dugout talking to Paul Skeens? Yeah. Brian McCann is part of the coaching staff, longtime catcher, and he was in the shot too. So the three of them were talking. And I thought, that's kind of cool that Skubal's back. Be really nice if he was pitching, but kind of cool if he's back. There's a couple of things that I noticed. Did you read the quote from Sandy Alcantara over the weekend? I don't suppose you did. He said, I'll be available to start or relieve. You name it. We're here to represent the Dominican Republic. I'm here. That was his quote. It's a nice quote, right? Yeah. Tarek Skubal's quote, if I stayed with the national team, I would miss the season opener. I felt I was pushing myself too hard. not that people should be rooting against the U.S., but that's what's created a bad taste for some people regarding the World Baseball Classic. Paul Skeens can give you 4 innings. Mason Miller can give you a strong inning. David Bednar can give you a strong inning. It's okay for Bobby Witt to play. It's okay for Aaron Judge to play. It's okay for Bryce Harper to play. The best in the world are playing. And the best pitcher you have available chooses not to. It's going to be a hard thing for a lot of people to truly try and understand. I mean, think about it for a minute. Those lineups yesterday, 52 All-Star selections, 32 Silver Sluggers, 11 Gold Gloves, 5 MVPs, a Cy Young, 4 Rookies of the Year awards, right? 8 Gold Gloves, 4 Platinum Gloves. Who wouldn't want to be part of that? You know what I mean? I mean, that is intense stuff. That's exactly the reason so many say they play the game. And I'm having a really difficult time getting that around. You know, if you're not going to play, then so be it. If you feel like you owe it to your team, that's fine. Derek Skubal may have more opportunities to play for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic in his career. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise you either. And maybe this is just not the right time, you know, because he feels like his team needs him more for an opening day. And he would have pitched last night. And then you would have had Skeens tomorrow, I believe. Instead, you're going to have Nolan McLean, who's got the crap kicked out of him by Italy, but he's a good pitcher for the Mets. And he may face Italy again. Not saying Skubal is Michael Lorenzen, all right? But Michael Lorenzen's pitching for Italy tonight. It's just an odd dynamic. That's all. When you want to play the best, sometimes people moving forward, fair or unfair, will look at this and say, why would he choose not to play? But another guy does. When people talk about the best pitchers in baseball, who are the 2 names? Skubal and it's Skeens. And you can make a legitimate argument for both. Don't go wins, okay? Because Casey Mize had more wins than Derek Skubal last year. And Paul Skeens plays on a dog crap team, that will not support him by bringing in any talent whatsoever, which has got to be incredibly frustrating for him. But when people have that argument, Skeens or Skubal, you know someone at some point is going to bring up what? Well, one guy was willing to pitch for the WBC, and the other guy wasn't. That's what you're going to use. You're going to use the heart factor, the gas factor. That's part of it. We'll ask Mitch Lyons about that, his thoughts on it, because we got Mondays with Mitch. It's coming up right around the corner. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Meyer on a Monday here on X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan. Now, they continue to grow. They got their worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. They are worldwide. They are the leaders when it comes to accounting, CPA, and business needs. Simple and easy. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. And also, Josh Garvey joins me every Tuesday as we talk hoops with former Michigan and Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein. Tuesdays, 5 p.m., Josh Garvey, Coach Beilein, and myself, we talk Michigan, Michigan State, and the Pistons. Talking hoops happens all the way through the NBA Finals. And could you imagine if the Pistons are in the NBA Finals? If you ever have a hoops question for us, you can drop it at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook, and Talking Hoops every Tuesday at 5 p.m., presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 sportsbook for live betting, and it's built for March. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market. This isn't a tournament you bet and forget. It's one you react to. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen. You're betting what's happening. Possession by possession, play by play, live lines, props, next play outcomes. As this March Madness chaos unfolds, the bracket will break. So don't just watch the unexpected. Why don't you bet on it? New to DraftKings, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code HUGE. That code is HUGE. Turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. This is a limited time offer.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
18 after the hour. Welcome back on a Monday. This hour brought to you by Meyer. Always welcome in Mitch Lyons from Mitch Lyons Wealth joining us here Mondays with Mitch at 7:18. Always good to visit with him and get his thoughts on sports in general. We'll talk a lot about the NCAA tournament, but as we welcome in our friend Mitch Lyons, I first wanted to get your thoughts, Mitch, on watching the WBC last night, and I'm sure you did. Tarek Skubal's in the dugout there with Paul Skeens. Do you think people in baseball generally are judging Tarek Skubal based on just one start while Paul Skeens is making two, while David Bednar is out there making appearance after appearance, and Garrett Whitlock and everybody else? What's your take on Tarek Skubal's decision to only pitch one game in this?
I don't really get it, Shep, honestly. I mean, I feel like, hey, spring training is to get ready for the season, right? And whether you're pitching a Grapefruit League game or whether you're pitching for your country, you're still going to throw the same amount of pitches. So I don't really understand why he didn't do it. And you throw it on top of him coming out of the, season-ending game last year early. It kind of makes you raise an eyebrow. But I love that game. I thought it was a fantastic game. Nobody saw a 2-1 game coming with those lineups. And what a masterful pitching performance on both sides.
Yeah, it was an incredible performance by Skeens and 5 other relievers to hold that team to just one run when they had been averaging 10. All right, the NCAA tournament, the brackets are out. I don't know if you filled yours out just yet. Maybe not, but you will. What do you love most about the NCAA tournament first?
Well, it's one and done time, right? It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter who would win a 7-game series because you only got to beat them once, right? And, it doesn't, there's no predictability to it, right? On any given day, somebody gets hot, team shoots an unprecedented percentage and boom, you're going home and you don't get a second chance. And that's awesome, man. It's just so fun to watch. And that's why I think it's so exciting. Again, you don't have to beat them 4 out of 7. You get hot one day, you win, you move on. And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you get it done, survive and advance.
We know who the 1 seeds are. It's Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and Florida in that order. Who's the best of the 1 seeds, do you think?
I think at this point, it's Duke, but I also think they got stuck with probably the hardest road to the Final Four in that East region. So, but I think you saw, Virginia took them to the wire. And again, I don't think there's any team out there. I think it's a really deep field. I think there's a lot of teams that could win this thing. Again, there's some teams that have been standouts throughout the year, but again, it's, a bucket here, a bucket there, and the script flips and you're sitting home watching the next game.
It is Mondays with Mitch Lyons, Mitch Lyons Wealth. Go to the website, mitchlyonswealth.com, or call him today, 866-85-STEEL. Sign up for the free newsletter. Pick up of his book, Retirement of Steel. It provides people with retirement advice, digital copy, free on the website. He's also a featured expert in the documentary Retirement Deception. Michigan State is a 3 seed in that tough East region. No question, it is the deepest and toughest region. You have Duke, and you have UConn, and you have MSU, you have Kansas, and you have St. John's. Those are the top 5 seeds, and those are legit, all national title contenders, at least Elite Eights, I would say, for each one of those. What do you think about them being a 3 seed?
I think it's about what I expected. I thought they could have played themselves up to a 2 seed, but obviously, didn't get it done in the Big Ten tournament. So, but listen, it's a tough region, but as I always say, you got to beat them sometime, and you don't have to beat all of them. They're going to beat up each other on the way. So obviously we got to get past North Dakota State. And then, seems like we're always facing Louisville in the NCAA. So probably see Louisville in round 2. And then, I tell you what, the way UCLA played against us, I think they're a team, even at a 7 seed that, is playing well at the right time. And, so who knows? It's unpredictable. I like Izzo, and especially in those, those turnaround games on the second half of a weekend. He's one of the best ever. And, I think they've got a pretty good chance, Shep. I really do. I know they kind of fizzled against UCLA, but it wasn't. I think it was almost UCLA just shot an incredible percentage. 56%. Most of the time, if we shoot 45 and 48 from 3, we're going to win those games, and we didn't that one. But I like where this team's at. We got Jeremy Fears as a point guard. I think that's critical in the NCAA. You've got to have great guard play, and I think they've got that. And we're going to have to shoot well, and that's what it's going to come down to. Our wings got to shoot the ball and make some buckets.
And have to defend the 3, have to defend it better than they did against UCLA. I remember watching that game the other day, and I texted Trent. I'm like, man, guard somebody on the perimeter. And that was Izzo's frustration, live and learn. I think they got a chance to reach the Elite Eight. I truly do. We had a texter earlier today, Austin from Ionia, said any upset or any Cinderella has to be outside the top 25. So a 7 seed or lower. If I asked you who might be a Cinderella pick for you, who would it be?
Cinderella to get how far?
Sweet 16.
I kind of, be honest with you, I mean, it's going to obviously take an upset to get there. But, I mean, the Big Ten, I feel like is so solid, and they've been at war with each other all year. I mean, obviously Ohio State would have to get past Duke. But I think on any given day, I mean, you never know, man. And, so you've got Ohio State that if they pull an upset early, they can make a run. Or obviously they'd be in the Sweet 16 if they beat Duke. But outside of that, I don't know. Maybe I was going to say BYU, but they're a 6. But I don't know. And that's what
I had Akron. Mitch, I had Akron as a 12 seed. First of all, it's the 12-5, which is very convenient for a lot of people. Just right. But Akron is a team that is very steady. They can score the ball in a lot of different ways, and they're playing a Texas Tech team that is without their best player, JT Toppin. Now they've been without their best player for a little bit. So still, the point is, as a 12 seed, that's one to watch. And the other is, and you brought up Big Ten, Wisconsin, when they're hot, I mean, they can beat just about anybody. When they're not, they can lose to anybody, and High Point could give them some issues. So those are 2 12 seeds to keep in mind. The free agent period continues in the NFL, but right now a lot of people are a little disappointed in the Lions' moves. How would you describe the Lions' free agent period thus far?
Pragmatic, I guess. I mean, it's not sexy. There's none of those big splash signings that people love to see. Obviously, linemen don't necessarily grab the headlines. I think I trust Brad and Dan that they got the guy they wanted at center. So I'm going to trust that. Mm-hmm. That's a good pickup and solidify that interior spot. I thought we were weak there last year. Got some depth, potentially a starter at tackle. I mean, they're going to have to address the line, obviously in the draft. Defensive, same thing on defense. They got to add, some linebackers, rush ends. So they've got some needs still for sure. I love Pacheco pickup. I think that's a great pickup. 1-year deal. He's going to be hungry. He's going to be playing for a big contract somewhere else. I think he is an RB1. And, I think he's going to be hungry running, and I love the way he runs. He runs like his hair's on fire. So I think he'll be a nice change up for Jameer. So, I mean, I'm kind of in a wait and see mode still. I think there's probably more still to be done potentially. And, but obviously, everybody'd love to see him go get a Hendrickson or a Max Crosby trade, something like that. But it's just, you got to fit the money piece of it together as well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I do like the Roger McCreary addition. I do. It's a 1-year deal. He's 26 years old, former 2nd-round pick by Tennessee. He has started 38 games before he was traded to the Rams at last year's deadline. I think that's a decent pickup. I actually think that their secondary, if their safeties can stay healthy, their secondary is actually starting to kind of come around a little bit. So I
like 1-year deals too, Chef. 1-year deals make guys hungry because they're playing for that big one the next year.
Amen to that. Good to visit with you. Thank you, my friend. Have a great week. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, buddy. Hey, and prayers up to all the people up north dealing with this ice storm. It's terrible, and praying for them.
Amen to that. Great point by you. Yeah, that's some dangerous stuff up there, man. I mean, they get hit hard, but it's been really challenging over the last few days this past weekend. Our phone number on the Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. Hero and Heel at 818. Get those in. We always welcome it here on a Monday edition of X's and Bros.
The Ultimate Sports Show Grand Rapids is back March 12th through 15th.
Over 4 football fields of fishing tackle, fishing boats, fishing trips, and hunting gear, all inside the Voss Place.
Shop 2 acres of the newest tackle from Michigan dealers who know Michigan waters and game fish.
With traveling specialty baits only available here once a year.
Book the trip of a lifetime at lodges, fly-ins, charters, and resorts.
Meet the guides and lodge owners at the show. Get the best boat prices of the year from dealers who specialize in rigging them right.
It's a fishing boat supermarket. Free fishing and hunting seminars from the pros and guides on 5 stages.
See Lake Ultimate with bass boats floating right on the lake.
The Hog Trough, a truck-size aquarium filled with game fish, plus rock climb and trout pond for the kids.
And the lumberjacks are back. See them climbing, chopping, and log rolling on Lake Ultimate.
It's all at the Ultimate Sports Show this Thursday through Sunday at DeVos Place, downtown Grand Rapids. Sportsmen never miss it.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is built for March. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards on the market, no matter what happens on the court, because this isn't a tournament you bet and forget. It's one you react to. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen, you're betting what's happening. Possession by possession, play by play, live lines, props, next play outcomes. As the chaos unfolds, the bracket will break, so don't just watch the unexpected, bet it. New to DraftKings? Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code HUGE. That's code HUGE to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and up, Michigan only. Eligibility and restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance, so get them in. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
passion that these fans have representing their country, representing some of their favorite players, there's nothing like it. And that's what you dream of as a kid. When I was in my backyard playing wiffle ball, this is the moments you dream of, big spots, big situations. And it gives me chills right now thinking about how special that was. I try to take a moment every game to kind of look around, appreciate the crowd, appreciate the moment. It's just a blessing to just go out there and do our thing.
Love that from Aaron Judge and Team USA last night, beating Dominican Republic 2-1. Everybody was saying it's the greatest lineup ever assembled for the Dominican Republic. It was awesome, but they forgot about Team USA's pitching staff. People looked at Team USA's lineup. They're like, man, that is really tough, even though a lot of people don't know yet about Roman Anthony, for example. But especially with Luis Severino on the mound to start for DR and bringing in some guys that you may not be as familiar with. It goes back to show you, and maybe this is why Tigers fans have a lot of faith in their team this year, is the pitching wins. Pitching shutting down good defenses. That Garrett Whitlock slider after slider after slider to get Manny Machado swinging was absolutely filthy. What a game. Tonight, it's Venezuela against Italy. The winner gets Team USA in the World Baseball Classic Championship game. Super excited for that. Back with you here on X's and Bros. We had talked a little bit with Mitch Lyons about Lions free agency. I noticed this in Sports Illustrated over the weekend. And they basically broke down every team and who they've signed and what they like. So obviously they give you Isaiah Pacheco, Cade Mays, Teddy Bridgewater, which doesn't do anything, Larry Borum, Tyler Conklin, Roger McCreary, Juice Scruggs in a trade, Christian Izien as safety. Here's what they write. Outside of adding a much-needed upgrade at center, which was desperately needed, and they've done that, the Lions have taken a conservative approach to free agency so far. I think that's well worded. It's been very conservative. It's been a wait and see. It is really hard, I think, in sports or in life, to be patient these days. You can be mad all you want at Brad Holmes, and I get it, because we all want the shiny new toy. We all want to open our Christmas presents before anybody else wakes up. And we think free agency is football's version of Christmas. Probably more so than the draft. The draft, we're getting guys and we're excited about certain guys because we're watching them in programs to a certain extent until they get to the third and fourth round and fifth round, unless you're a complete freak and you're hopeful. Whereas free agency, you know what you're getting. At least you think you do. I think we're getting a really good player here. Oops. Hi, DJ Reed. You didn't play as well for us as you did for the Jets. Right? So that is what Christmas is really all about for football fans. It's the free agency. And when the Lions take their time and don't do much, all of us shake our head and saying, what the hell are they waiting for? Why didn't they open up the checkbook and sign a guy? They should have been talking to him at 12:01 this morning. I get it. I don't disagree with how people view that period of time for the National Football League. And I understand why emotionally you feel it's really important to work that area, work that type of moment to make your team better. They did with a really significant piece, but they have not done that with another significant piece off the edge. I think that's fair to say. They write, the Lions have a variety of needs, including a tackle after losing Taylor Decker, which, by the way, did you talk about somebody who may have overplayed their hand? Do you think Taylor Decker asking for his outright release has been a smart move? Green Bay's Walker got $10 million, $11 million bucks on a 1-year deal. Rasheed Walker got $10 million, $11 million on a 1-year contract. What many people considered the best free agent tackle in the entire free agent period, free agent class, ended up getting a 1-year deal. Taylor Decker may have overplayed his hand with Detroit to the tune where he's going to lose some money, right? He's going to lose a lot of money.
There's no doubt he's losing money, but the question now becomes, if there's no suitors, does he swallow his pride and come back to Detroit for less?
Great question.
Or does he just retire?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he could just do that.
I mean, he was contemplating it. He came out and said it right after the season.
Well, sure, yeah, but remember, he also said he's coming back.
Yeah,
and that's been more recently.
Yep,
that would be a really hard thing to do, to swallow your pride and come back, to reopen those negotiations. He's the one who asked for the release. So asking for the release, and now you're saying, listen, the market's not there. I want to come back. Oh, you want to come back? Well, guess what? Now the price might be different.
Because then 100% of the leverage shifts to Brad Holmes.
I think Brad Holmes has the leverage now.
Yeah.
Without question.
No doubt.
Every team's got leverage. It's incredibly humbling, I would guess, for guys like Taylor Decker, guys like Cam Jordan. There's a number of different big name players out there who've established themselves. They have to be looking at other players who've signed contracts and said, I'm better than that dude. I truly believe I'm better than that guy. I understand that. Trey Hendrickson's felt that way for the last 2 or 3 years, for crying out loud. Look at some of his numbers against Max Crosby's. And Trey Hendrickson's probably going, how come I'm not making that kind of coin? He's making really good money now in Baltimore, but numbers-wise, there's no doubt that he and his camp have been saying the exact same thing. I don't get it. I'm better than those guys. It happens a lot in everyday life, okay? So my guess is Taylor Decker is thinking long and hard right now about what you just said. Do I retire, or do I even think about reconnecting with the Lions? I don't think the Lions need to bring in a free agent tackle. I think they're going to draft their next tackle. I don't know if it's Lomu. I don't know if it's Freeling. I don't know who it's necessarily going to be. Okay. Fanu could be any of those guys. We'll see what happens with it. Okay. Could be any of them, but I think they're going to find a guy in that first or second round who's going to be their next right tackle. But I understand why Sports Illustrated writes this. They will have to rely on the draft or the later stages of free agency to bolster the roster. The team's young core remains intact, but there are certainly pieces needed to help them return to the playoffs. The pieces that are needed, I think there's one that we're all waiting for, and that's the defensive end position. They have addressed some of their needs in the secondary through free agency. They don't have to address them all because you still have the draft, okay? Right now, as you look at how this team is built, you're going to have to draft a tackle. When that is up to Brad Holmes and the Lions, but they're going to have to draft a tackle because they've been able to create some depth. Borum is a depth guy. Scruggs is a depth guy. Manu is a depth guy. They need a starter on the right side. You draft that guy. You have 3 other guys who can, if it's needed, play there as well. That's a good thing. That's not unlike a lot of teams. You don't have to have the quote-unquote all-pro at every single position for you to have success. Lions have proven that before. Other teams have proven that before. You can't name the right guard for the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? So let's not get too twisted here. It's that defensive end that you might draft at some point, but have a veteran keeping it warm for that individual. I've promoted, or I've proposed and supported Cam Jordan. Good numbers a year ago, good against the run and the pass. He's going to give you maybe 8 sacks, 7.5, 8 sacks. while rotating at that position at his age. Gives you a professional presence in the locker room, and I think can help this team in a lot of different ways while some of the younger guys grow into a more important role as a pass rusher and learning some things. Be a really good guy to have opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not afraid to go get some guys who are a little bit older on 1-year deals. I just don't like multi-year deals with guys who are getting up there in age. And I worry about the whole injury status, so on and so forth. So you have 9 draft picks right now. And you know how I feel about the draft. First, second, third round should be starters. They don't have a third rounder. They could move up. You're going to lose 1 or 2 draft picks. I'd be fine moving up into the third round. You could get 3 starters. You could get a defensive end. You could get a tackle. You could get somebody in your secondary or a linebacker because you're going to need a linebacker. With all due to Trevor Nowatzki, with all due respect to Malcolm Rodriguez, they're not starting alongside Jack Campbell. Not on a Super Bowl team, they're not. They're good special teams guys. They're good situational guys. They're good emergency guys. They're good depth guys. Important to have. I'm not knocking their ability or the impact they can have on this team. But they are not starters in the National Football League. It's okay. You have 4 areas. Even though you've built up the offensive line, I don't think this has gotten nearly enough coverage. You have built up a lot of depth along that offensive line. Think about it for a moment. You've got Sewell. You've got guys like Christian Mahogany, Miles Frazier, Giovanni Manu. I know you're rolling your eyes. I'm talking about depth here, okay? I'm not talking about starters. Giovanni Manu. You've got Scruggs. You've got Borum. In addition to that, you've got Cade Mays. You got Tate Ratledge. There's 7 offensive linemen right there. And you're going to draft another. And the depth guys, as in Borum and Scruggs, even though I wouldn't say I want them starting every single game, I wouldn't have a problem with them coming in there while one guy goes under the blue tent, would you? No. It's actually pretty good depth. Giovanni Manu's got some starts under his belt. It's not very good, but he's a young player and can get better as a backup. Don't clip it and think, oh, he's talking about him as a starter. That's not what I'm suggesting. The depth they've built up with their offensive line has been pretty damn good. It should give us some encouraging signs. That's all I'm saying. Shep, the Rams were so desperate for defensive backs last year, and they let McCreary walk. Kind of tells you something, but in fairness, Brad did the same thing with Carlton Davis, and it bit him. They weren't conservative when they raised prices. I'm so tired of hearing the defensive end spot. When will they fix the defensive tackle spots? Good point. I wish they brought back Roy Lopez. You do have 2 starting defensive tackles. You're going to need more there as well. All right. So I'm not going to disagree with that. The ticket price stuff is, I think that's what you're referring to, raised prices. Can we just keep this in perspective here for a moment? And I'm not defending the Lions by any stretch. There's a lot of things that they've done that I don't necessarily agree with. But when they raised their ticket prices, keep in mind, they were among the lowest in the National Football League when they did raise them. Okay? So they will tell you this is their side of the story. I'm not saying one side is right or wrong. I'm just telling you, you got to understand. They're down here. They raised them to get here. All right? So I know you always talk about, some people do talk about the raising of the ticket prices. Detroit was, I never heard that when they were among the lowest ticket prices. And before you start to say, well, that's because they weren't a very good team. Well, if that's your logic, then when they are a good team, they should raise their prices. Am I right? You see what I'm saying? I mean, if that's your mindset. So all you got to do is just try to, understand some things here on the average ticket price when it comes to the National Football League. Okay? Understand some things. The Eagles this past year were number 1 in average ticket price. The Lions were 2. Lions raised it. The average ticket price, according to sports, what is this? This is Statista.com. Okay. Lions were at $485 per ticket. Eagles were number 1, Lions 2, Raiders 3, Bears 4, Chiefs 5. Okay. So there's some validity there. The NFL average was 312. What that was the year before, I don't know, but I know they kicked it up a notch because they were so low for an extended period of time. Again, not making excuses for them. All right. You're going to pay that much money for a ticket. First of all, I think the NFL is almost, it seems to be outpricing itself for the common fan. I don't know how people do it. Like Trent and his family have season tickets. I don't know how the hell they do it.
It's gotten a lot tougher in the last couple of years. I'll tell you that.
I just, that is the ultimate commitment. And when you're talking about people who are passionate about their team, that is a perfect description. We're talking about a family that drives from Grand Rapids on a Sunday to get to watch their team and pay that kind of money. That doesn't include parking, by the way. That's tickets. Parking and beverages and food and everything else like that. Like I would pack my own lunch, eat on the way down there. And I'd consider walking at least 5 blocks to save myself some money if that's how much money I'm paying. And then on top of that, you're getting a team that isn't making the playoffs. This is a hard thing for people to deal with. Your disposable income is really important. How you choose to spend it. Think about that. $485 a ticket. That's the average. You're paying $485. Think about what you could do with $485. It's crazy. Our phone number on the Meijer hotline is 866-838-4843. 818. We want your hero and heel. The best and the worst of the week. You've got it. We want to hear about it via the chat on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, or via the Meijer hotline, or you can just text us. Sports Radio 21,000. This is X's and Bros. We're brought to you by Meijer.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 sportsbook for live betting, and it's built for March. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market. This isn't a tournament you bet and forget. It's one you react to. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen. You're betting what's happening. Possession by possession, play by play, live lines, props, next play outcomes. As this March Madness chaos unfolds, the bracket will break. So don't just watch the unexpected. Why don't you bet on it? New to DraftKings? Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code HUGE. That code is HUGE. Turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. This is a limited time offer.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
Lake Michigan Credit Union is proud to be the presenting sponsor of your Detroit Tigers 2026 spring training. Get out to the ballpark this year and enjoy some family-friendly fun. LMCU. You'll love banking there. The ABS challenge system is coming. Last year was used only in spring training. Now it will be used in the regular season, and there's a lot to it. We're going to talk about it all week on In the Den. First, what the system is. Each team gets 2 challenges to a called ball ball or strike to start the game. You get to retain your challenges as long as you're correct. 2 wrong challenges and you're done, at least until extra innings. At AAA, where the system's been in use for several years, there are an average of 4.5 challenges per game, with the average review taking just over 10 seconds. The average success rate of challenges, whether it's by the hitter or pitcher-catcher, has stayed steady. Challenges are successful about half the time. The new system means major challenges for the strike zone, and we'll talk about that next on In the Den.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
about this over the weekend. Bill Barnwell from ESPN on Friday had a long article about where the remaining free agents sit and where they would best fit, I might add. And he had the Lions associated with one player, and that player was Rasheed Walker. Said it would make a lot of sense, which to me it would too, depending on the money, right? Like if I knew I could have gotten that guy on a 1-year deal for $10, $11 million, would you have gone on? Absolutely.
Easy yes.
Done it. That's an easy yes. Absolutely would have wanted him. Those are the things that make you go, I get their conservative nature to a certain extent, but why are they not knocking on that door? You know what I mean? That would be something that would make a lot of sense. It fills a need. It fills a need with a really good player, I might add. And they do so without getting caught up in a long-term deal.
And I've seen some Lions fans come out and say, well, how do we know that Brad Holmes didn't try to get him? Pony up. If that's all it took was a 1-year deal, then if Brad Holmes did reach out, he didn't do a very good job of it. I think that's fair to say.
Well, when you say pony up, what do you mean by that?
Overpay a little if you have to. It's a huge need.
But we don't. Okay,
outbid somebody is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get it.
We never see that with Brad Holmes, it seems.
Well,
and it's a double-edged sword because I get it. You don't want to get strapped with a bunch of bad contracts.
You don't think he overpaid for DJ Reed? DJ Reed's going to make $17 million this year.
Yeah, based on how he played last year. But at the time, that didn't seem like a bad contract. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it would have been a bad to get Rasheed for that price or a little bit more. That would not have been a bad contract right here, right now. It wouldn't seem.
I would love to know how the Panthers got him at $10 million.
That's what I'm saying. Why couldn't you?
It might be the most shocking revolution from this year's free agency. Rasheed Walker, who was widely considered the best tackle in free agency, gets a 1-year, $10 million contract in Carolina. How is Detroit not part of that conversation? Like, I understand you let Taylor Decker go. That's fine. Okay. I think he was going to make like $21 million. You're saving a ton of money if you're getting this guy for $10, $11 million, whatever the case may be. How are you not involved? And maybe they were, but how are you not looking at them and saying, left tackle, you know the division, we're going to give you, $11, $12 million, whatever. It's easy for me to say. It's easy for you to say. We don't know the entire finances of all of it. But find a way to get that guy and solidify the group that you feel is what let you down a year ago. If you had that dude at left, you had Penei Sewell at right, you had Ratledge at right guard, you had Cade Mays at center, how much better do you feel about your team? Now, in fairness, moving Sewell to left and drafting a really good right tackle would be just as much of a positive feeling for me as just about anything else. But Walker is that, highly productive, a guy who we've seen do it before, and a proven commodity. So there you go. I think a lot of this depends, Trent, maybe not for you, but for me, a lot of it depends on what their move is next. If they've used, because let's face it, they don't have a lot of money. Okay. If they take that money and use it for a defensive end, then I'm okay with it, depending on what they're going to do in the draft, right?
Yeah, and like you said, maybe they do. Maybe that is exactly the plan. They're going to spend the money elsewhere for other needs because it's not just on the O-line, and then address the O-line need in the draft because you can move Sewell to the other side. Maybe that's exactly what they're going to do. And if that's the case, I'll shut up. But
yeah, I think there are. It's
been underwhelming.
I think it has. It's been underwhelming. I don't disagree with that, but I think we're seeing a trend in the National Football League. And there's a lot of teams deciding, you know what? We're going to ride out with our guys, and then we're going to backfill with some veterans at a much cheaper price. And that's what's happening. Javon Hargrave, okay? The Packers sign him. He was released by the Vikings. 2 years, $23 million. That's a good deal for a good defensive tackle, right? Jonathan Allen, the Bengals, 2 years, $26 million. Okay? He was going to make $16 million before he was let go. You're getting guys at cheaper rates. You're getting them on short-term contracts as well. So maybe that is the plan. We don't know the plan right now. So I get why we're all frustrated. When I say we, I'm including myself there too, why we're all frustrated. But, you know, the thing you're hoping for is that if they've got a vision and that vision comes to fruition once the draft is settled, and suddenly they have a starting right tackle from day one because they've moved Penei Sewell to left tackle, and you've got a proven center and a good right guard, then you feel a lot better about your situation, because what they've done is they've used the draft capital for the tackle spot, and they used a little bit of the money that they would have had to spend on Rasheed Walker for the defensive end. Now, the immediate thought might be this: well, I'd rather you sign Rasheed Walker, keep Sewell there, and draft the defensive end early on, considering that, folks, they have all kinds of needs, man. We've talked about it. They need a tackle. They need an edge. They need a backer, and they could use a little bit more help in the secondary. And they've got 9 picks to do it and a little bit more time in free agency. Now, Freddie sends us another text, and I get it. You know, I completely understand it. He said, look, to hear a fan, and Trent said he's a fan, it's gotten tougher over the last few years, and the owner came out and talked Super Bowl 2 years ago, and now it seems like there's no talk about that again. That's the point of me talking about raising the BS prices. Just because the owner comes out and says Super Bowl and hasn't done that since doesn't mean that they don't feel that way. Okay? So let's not be too caught up in, well, she's talking about Super Bowl. If she talks about Super Bowl and they don't get there, you're pissed at her. If she doesn't talk about Super Bowl, you're pissed at her. The only way you're going to be happy is if she talks about Super Bowl and they actually do it. I think you're looking at her actions or the team's actions or the lack thereof. And that's what you want. Remember this, though. Everybody talks, and I've heard I've been really paying attention to what a lot of the national media is saying on their observations of the Lions. They talk about the core, C-O-R-E, the core of this team, and how much they love that. When healthy, I want you to think about this for just a moment, and then I know we got to go to break. When healthy, if you had a top 5 player, I think it's fair to say they're elite, an elite player at a safety position, Brian Branch is that. I said when healthy. If you had a top 5 player at the linebacker position, Jack Campbell is that. If you had a top 5 player as an edge rusher, Hutchinson is that. If you had a top 5 player as an offensive lineman, Penei Sewell is that. If you had a top 5 player as a wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown is that. A top 5 player as a quarterback, Jared Goff is that. A top 5 player as a running back, Jahmyr Gibbs is that. And you could argue at least a top 8 player on the defense, a tight end position, Sam Laporta is that when healthy. I said when healthy. How many teams have that? Be honest. How many teams have that? Philadelphia? Not the quarterback. The Rams? Secondary now? Probably not the linebacker, unless you consider Landman that. I don't know. I mean, there's not many teams, if at all, that have that. You have them locked up. Branch and Laporta and Gibbs not locked up, but you have a lot of these guys locked up. There's a reason that they're limited on the amount of money that they can spend. And that's because they have their quote unquote core, for the most part, locked up. You and I can debate on whether or not they paid him the right price. I think they overpaid for Goff, for example, but and they've restructured that though. So that should help them this year, right? We got Hero and Heel on the other side. This hour of X's and Bros on a Monday morning is brought to you by our friends at Avelo Airlines. Go to aveloair.com today.
Fish on!
The Ultimate Sports Show Grand Rapids is back March 12th through 15th.
Over 4 football fields of fishing tackle, fishing boats, fishing trips, and hunting gear, all inside the Boss Place.
Shop 2 acres of the newest tackle from Michigan dealers who know Michigan waters and game fish.
With traveling specialty baits only available here once a year.
Book the trip of a lifetime at lodges, fly-ins, charters, and resorts.
Meet the guides and lodge owners at the show. Get the best boat prices of the year from dealers who specialize in rigging them right.
It's a fishing boat supermarket. Free fishing and hunting seminars from the pros and guides on 5 stages.
See Lake Ultimate with bass boats floating right on the lake.
The Hog Trough, plus rock climb and trout pond for the kids.
And the lumberjacks are back. See them climbing and log rolling on Lake Ultimate.
It's all at the Ultimate Sports Show this Thursday through Sunday at DeVos Place. Thursday only, bring in a bag of 6 or more grocery items for Sportsmen Against Hunger. Get free admission to the show. Go to ultimatesportshowgr.com.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Okay, back with you, 18 after the hour. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 10, or 6 until 9. Don't need another hour. Don't forget the huge show coming up a little bit later on these same great state station affiliates from 3 until 6. Check out Billy. They'll be talking, no doubt, about the NCAA tournament and about some of the other things. You know, the World Baseball Classic, I hope. Lions is always a big topic. I hope people are also recognizing that, you know, the Michigan and Michigan State women's teams are 2 and 3 seeds, respectively, in the women's tournament. And we're going to see Michigan and Michigan State make the NCAA college hockey tournament, too. Michigan plays Ohio State for the Big Ten title. Ohio State upset MSU at home. I watched that game. That was surprising to me. But either way, there's a lot of good things going on right now. Think about this, and I'm sure you already have. We've got both schools as high seeds. The hockey teams are going to be high seeds. High seeds in the men's and women's basketball tournaments, and it's going to be in the hockey tournament. All right. You've got the Pistons leading the East still. You've got the Red Wings, who right now are in the second wild card spot. They play Calgary tonight. And you've got a Tigers team that I think a lot of people are super excited about, and for good reason, because they're projected to win the division and should be one of those teams. I truly believe that if they're playing well, truly going to be one of those teams that will be reckoned with in the American League in general. I mean, it'll be, for sure, it'll be the Blue Jays. It'll be the Yankees. I do like Baltimore, to be honest with you. It's going to be Seattle, but Detroit's going to be in that mix. Okay? So there's a lot of good things happening. Let's not lose sight of how good the women's teams have been, both at State and Michigan as well. Let's get to every Monday at 8:18, we do Hero and Heels. That's the best and the worst of the weekend. All right. I could easily do 2 heels. I could do multiple heroes. I love watching the World Baseball Classic. My hero is the team in general. Mason Miller specifically, as I gave this statistic earlier. How good has Mason Miller been? He's been this good since September of a year ago. Okay. September of last year. Mason Miller has faced 50 batters. He's retired all 50 of them. And he's retired 39 by strikeouts. That's how dominant he has been. But it's not just that. It's a really good play at second base. It's another great play by Bobby Witt at shortstop. He's an elite player. My son and I were texting back and forth as we were watching this game, and he said, Bobby Witt's my favorite player in baseball. I said, me too.
He's excellent.
And it's not even close. Plus, he's a great dude. All right. Trust me when I tell you that. He's an absolutely great dude. He is exactly who you want to build your team around. He's got power. He's got speed. He's a 5-tool player. But anyway, Aaron Judge is playing right field. That hose to third was incredible, right? The pitching staff, not just Paul Skeens, but the 5 relievers in association with it. Hey, Will Smith, making sure that he's, handling all those pitchers. It's not easy to catch 102. One popped off his glove in the 9th inning. How they gave it a wild pitch is beyond me. It should have been a pass ball. My point is, they've done a really good job of representing the United States. The United States have had a lot of really good things to enjoy as of late. Obviously, hockey gold for men and women's. But we talked about it earlier. You see the other gold medals that they've received, and now a chance to do that by playing either Venezuela or Italy in the World Baseball Classic championship game. Team USA for the WBC is my champion of the week.
Proud as hell of that team, no doubt. I think you speak for a lot of people. Hear me out on my hero because it's a little bit outside the box. Jack Benter, the Purdue freshman. He only plays 15 minutes per game. He averages less than 5 points per game for the Boilermakers, but here's a key stat. 52% from the free throw line in the tournament, 60% from the line on the season. And yet, in the final minute and 33 seconds of yesterday's championship game, he went 4 for 4. And as a basketball coach myself, I just love that kind of stuff. Still a single-digit lead at that point. Purdue's trying to put it away, and under heavy pressure, a 52% free throw shooter, and a freshman, mind you, didn't blink. So, of course, Braden Smith, Oscar Clough, Trey Kaufman-Wren, even Fletcher Lawyer, they'll get all the press and the credit, and rightfully so. They should. I mean, those were the players of the game. But the Wolverines easily could have kept the pressure on a little bit tougher down the stretch and made that game a bit more interesting had it not been for 4 key free throws from Jack Benter.
It's a good one. I'm glad you went there. Too many times it's little nuggets of that type of information that get lost because it's when you make them as much as if you make them at all. Here's my heel, and there's a lot from which to choose. Steve Kerr first and foremost, but I'm going to go with Joel Embiid. And you might go, what are you talking about? Joel Embiid missed last night's game against Portland. Do you know what that means? It means that Joel Embiid has missed as many games in his career as he has played.
Yikes.
In 10 years, Joel Embiid has played 485 games. In his career, he's missed 485 games.
Me and my buddies have joked about how Eli Manning is exactly 500 for his career, but that's wins and losses. This is games played. This is bad.
This is terrible. And remember, he's an MVP. Most games he's ever played is 68. He averages 48 and a half games per year. Think about that for a second.
He's not even sniffing award eligibility, by the way.
What? Right. Well, nor should he be.
Not that matters.
Everybody questions, I can't believe Steve Nash won, back-to-back MVPs. Nobody questions Joel Embiid and his lack of availability. Look, you can cover your ears. I thought about doing the LeBron thing because of his narcissistic behavior. I'm going to wear a patch that reads all-time field goals leader. Don't wear the patch that says I've missed more field goals than anybody in history. Don't wear a patch that I've had more turnovers than anybody in history. Like, what athlete does that? Did Pete Rose do that? Hey, Cincinnati, can you give me a patch on the all-time hits leader? Did Ricky Henderson, who's one of the more self-promoting athletes of all time, say, I'm the greatest of all time? He did. He raised it after stealing third. But did he ask for a patch so everybody can make it? Did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar do it? No. Did Wayne Gretzky do it? No. Did Nolan Ryan do it when he had the strikeout lead? Or Martin Brodeur when he won more games than anybody else in net? Does anybody in the history of sports do what this narcissist does? No.
Sounds like LeBron's your heel, not Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid and LeBron. It's a combo. It's a tag team. It's a 1-2. It's funny. Luka Doncic hit that game-winning shot, and Austin Reeves had a really good game for LA when they beat Denver the other night. And they called Jamal Murray fouled out after LeBron James literally hugged him, grabbed him, but they said Jamal Murray does it. LeBron James has got to learn to be more of a role player now, because when Doncic and Reeves are on the floor together, they're really good. When James is out there, it's a train wreck.
They're very good scorers.
And the numbers support, well, it's not like LeBron James is adding anything defensively, for crying out loud. And the numbers support it. So hopefully he, in his waning season, learns a little bit more about becoming more of a role player. And that's got to be a really hard thing for anybody. I don't care if it's him or anybody else. Anyway, Joel Embiid, LeBron James, co-heels of the week for me.
Love the passion, Shep. My heel. Those who complain, whether it's fan bases, media members, or less common, players and coaches themselves, those who complain about their tournament draw, region, seeding, path to a Final Four, none of it should matter if you just act like you've been there before and play like you've been there before. And I'll call out my own buddies who are Michigan State fans. Sure, the East region is loaded on paper. So what? There's a reason Tom Izzo and the Spartans have made it 28 straight appearances in the tournament. There have been plenty of ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. But MSU is just one example of a bunch of teams and a bunch of fan bases in this tournament who believe they can beat anybody. So your draw shouldn't really matter. You got to beat the best anyways, right? So
yeah, but if anybody's going to have a complaint in that draw, shouldn't it be Duke?
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously, I mean, they're the number one overall seed, and rightfully so. They've earned that. They've deserved that. One would assume associated with that comes a little bit more of a lenient path to reach the Final Four, and yet they have by far the most intimidating and challenging path to get there based on not just reputation of UConn, Michigan State, St. John's, Kansas, but because those teams are damn good this year and all could trip them up.
Really
so I'm
point.
with you on that. That's well said. All right. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here on a busy Monday. Brought to you by Avelo Airlines, AveloAir.com. They fly direct from Grand Rapids to Lakeland, Detroit to Lakeland. Take advantage of it. Tigers aren't playing much longer down there in Joker Marchand, and Avelo Airlines will drop you off 20 minutes from that destination site. It's convenient, it's clean, and it's on time. It's Avelo Airlines.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
Okay, got some texts of folks who want to be heard on Hero and Heel, and I love that. Thank you for taking some time. So, Trent, let's get to that before we get to the final results of the poll question, the daily wager, which I believe you lost. Unfortunately, I would have lost it too. So let's get to those texts. Go ahead.
Yeah, along the lines that you went, Hero, Team USA, and literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
Heel, Big Ten referees, that was disgusting yesterday.
That Michigan didn't get to the line more often?
I think that's what they're referring to. There's no specification. But
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I did see a lot of, at least in the circles I run in, there were a lot of people upset with about 4 minutes left. The play where Cuff and Lendeborg went for the ball at the same time, the rebound.
Yeah.
And there was quite a bit of contact, but the ball was touched first, and there's controversy as to whether or not that should have been called.
Yeah, I get it. Seems like a bit of a discrepancy at the free throw line. I mentioned this earlier, and it's funny how the people who feel like Michigan gets every call, or our teams. Let me just, it's not always Michigan, but in this case, it happens to be. They get every call, and they were pretty quiet yesterday. I thought that was pretty interesting. Look, Michigan didn't play very well. It's okay to admit that. It's not like you've been knocked out of the NCAA tournament. Purdue was better. They were better yesterday. Michigan settled. Lendeborg's really the only guy who showed up, as far as I'm concerned. I don't look at that as a long-term issue for Michigan. It doesn't make me think Michigan's not coming out of that bracket. Michigan's going to have problems when they open up on this coming Thursday or Friday, whatever it is. Friday, I believe. Whatever. I don't think they're going to have an issue with that. But looking at certain teams in specific games, you can get a glimpse of what their Achilles heel may be. Okay? There is no perfect team out there. Okay? But you and I both know that. So when you're filling out your brackets, you're trying to convince yourself of how good this team is. What is it that might cause the biggest problem? If Michigan, this is so basic, but if they're missing shots, they're getting out rebounded like they did yesterday. It felt like to me watching them that the Big Ten tournament championship wasn't all that meaningful. And that's a hard thing to say about a group of young men who've worked their ass off to get there. It's the way they played. That's not how I've watched them play this year. It's not too dissimilar of how I felt about with Michigan State against UCLA. I'm watching them like, this is not the same team I've watched most of the season. Look at how they played. They played like crap. Period. You're not going to beat many teams. You might be able to get by with that in the first couple of rounds, but you're not going to beat the really good teams in your bracket if you're going to play that way. Doesn't make me start to wonder about Michigan. But I get it. I get why you're talking about the refereeing. In a game like that, you hate it to come down to officiating. Don't think that was the reason they lost, but it's part of it. It's not like it was the World Baseball Classic where it came down to a final pitch from Mason Miller that was below the zone on a slider. It's below the zone, and it was taken for strike 3. There's a part of me that says if it's close enough to call, it's close enough to swing. But he should have been on first base. Should have been the bases loaded with 2 down and the top of the order up, even though the top of the order was stifled for the most part. Next text. Go ahead.
Hero Izzo for 28 straight tournament appearances. Heel Pistons, specifically Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, what do you think the level of concern for the Pistons is right now?
I think it's higher than it's been all season. I think it's higher now than it even was on the 4-game slide. I do because now it's a bigger sample size, even though it's not all consecutive. They've now lost
5 of 7.
5 of 7. Yeah. So I think right now, and it's happening. I don't always believe in teams peaking at the right time and whatnot, but if you do subscribe to that sort of thing, how can you feel good about this team right now?
I would say this. I think it has more to do with how the other really good teams are playing. You got 20 games left, and you're going to take this 5 out of 7 and say, now I'm concerned. What if they win 17 of their next 20. But it's for a week. So we're talking about hero and heel for a week. So it's appropriate. I think a lot of it has to do with, holy crap, we really thought we're getting into the NBA Finals because of how we played earlier. We didn't learn, including yours truly, didn't learn from our Tigers mistake, from our Lions mistake when they were 4-1. And now we're going, you know what? This is a team that, who's going to beat them in the East and so on and so forth. Boston and New York each have 44 wins. I'm not a big New York Knicks guy. I think Boston's really good. But they've got 44 wins. You look at Oklahoma City, they've got 53. San Antonio has more wins than Detroit. They've got 49, I believe. Even the team that I just ripped on, the LA Lakers, they've got 42 wins. Now, they're not catching Detroit, but I think you understand my point. It's the way some of these other teams are playing, and you're like, we used to measure ourselves against the East until there was a huge gap. Then we started measuring ourselves against OKC. And then San Antonio came in, dusted us, and then pounded us at their barn. And now you're going, maybe those warts are a little bit more noticeable after all. Hero and heel from our friend Freddie. Hero is Cam Young. Even though Matthew Fitzpatrick would have won my fantasy golf week last week. Wow, I didn't know there was a fantasy golf league. Cameron seems to be like a great dude, and that backswing should be used more, and I bet many will start to do that now. I thought he was going to go. The fact that his two boys ran out onto the 18th green and hugged him, and he gave all the credit to his wife and for just being there at home and allowing him to do what he does.
That was very endearing. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was, because it's not mentioned nearly enough. I've always liked him. He is one of those guys, though, when I watch him play, he doesn't seem like he enjoys it.
Yeah, he's constantly stressing himself out maybe a little bit too much.
He seems very flatlined,
which
can be a really good thing if you're a golfer. I always thought Oberg was like that too, but he blew up on the back nine yesterday. Cam Young's a really good player. I mean, he showed it in the Ryder Cup too, but he doesn't smile very often when he's out on the course. His heel, bringing back Teddy Bridgewater, is an embarrassment to the importance of that position on supposedly a championship roster if your starter goes out. 100% agree. It's a really good choice. I'm not going to disagree with you at all. That to me is a joke. You're trying to tell me you can't find anybody else other than Teddy Bridgewater. Wow.
But then I'm nitpicking here, but shouldn't your heel then be Brad Holmes, not Teddy Bridgewater? I mean, it's not his fault,
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm sure that's what Freddie's referring to, so I'm splitting hairs here, but
no, you're right.
I think a better way to word that would be Brad Holmes and the way they've evaluated the quarterback room. That's your heel.
Amen to that. I'll buy that. Okay. This is a guy. First of all, Teddy Bridgewater has only played, he's a backup, so who really cares? But he's only played a full season once in his career. All right. He's been around, 11 years, once in his career. He's a guy who has thrown exactly 15 passes over the last 3 years. And a guy who has played in 5 games over the last 3 years. He's played in 10 games over the last 4 years, only started 2 games over the last 4 years. I'm glad he brought that up. This is a position that is not talked about nearly enough, because we don't think it's going to be all that important because Jared Goff is our guy. And let's face it, if there's anybody in the National Football League who loses their starter, they're screwed anyway. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, you feel more comfortable with certain backups. Don't tell me San Francisco was feeling a bunch of angst when Mac Jones was starting. They felt okay with that. Mac Jones is a productive player. When's the last, we asked this last week, we still haven't been able to come up with it, really. Detroit's really never had that great of a backup quarterback situation. Matthew Stafford's first year, Dante Culpepper? Anybody make you feel like, yes, I think we can win with that backup quarterback.
No. Nope.
Way back in the day when it was Eric Kramer and Rodney Peete. Way back in the day when Eric Hipple took over on a Monday night game against Chicago. It was great, right?
Kramer and Peete was that's where my mind went too. But now we're going back 30 years.
Yeah, I know. We're going back to the early 90s, man. And I'm not trying to be too hyperbolic here. I want you to think about it for a minute. Who's the backup you feel comfortable with? Nobody wants to use their backup quarterback in the National Football League, unless you're in Detroit long time ago, because they didn't have anybody starter unless it was like Jeff Comlow, for crying out loud, the starting quarterback for the Lions. So you wanted anybody but, right? Who was it? And I'm not talking about your feelings. I'm not talking about, wow, I really want this guy to be my guy. I want Dan Orlovsky to be my guy.
Or I really like Drew Stanton because he went to Michigan State. Doesn't mean he's a great backup quarterback at all.
Doesn't mean you want him in there on a regular basis.
No.
Right? Okay. So who is it? Think about it for a minute. We're hardcore Lions fans. Can't think of a guy you'd feel comfortable with at all. And I'm not talking about starting one game. Maybe John Kitna, maybe. But he was more of a starter. And that was a concern as it was. It's more about, if I got to start this guy a couple of games while my quarterback gets healthy, can we survive? Really hard thing to do. Really hard thing to do for the Detroit Lions. Teddy Bridgewater? Come on.
We've said it countless times on this show, but you hear it elsewhere as well. It's not about, yes, if your quarterback goes down, your season's over. It's about if you have to weather the storm for even 2 games, those 2 games could put you out of the playoffs if you don't have solid quarterback play.
I want you to think about this for a minute. The Lions drafted a kid by the name of Mike McMahon out of Rutgers in the 6th round in 2001. People loved him in Detroit. I want to see Mike McMahon. He can run and he can do this. I'm like, dude, he's 3-11 as a starter. Started 14 games. Honestly. Completed, get this, 44.5% of his passes. More interceptions than touchdowns. Never threw for more than 1,100 yards in a season. And people loved him. Like he was the second coming of Johnny Unitas, for crying out loud.
Career throwing percentage of 44.5.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, 44.5%. Awful.
Yeah. I mean, he won a year. He only played 3 games. He completed 29% of his passes, and Lions fans wanted him. When's the last time, honestly, they've had a decent backup? So I'm glad he brought up Teddy Bridgewater. He's 100% right. It's a mockery. And it does show you just how the lack of depth, for crying out loud, that they have at that position in the National Football League. One more text before we get to the final results of the poll question.
Selection committee is my hero for putting in Miami of Ohio and not Auburn. And my heel is Bruce Pearl, they say. And they just leave it at that.
Because Bruce actually said Auburn. He made a good case for Auburn yesterday on who they've beaten, who they've played. There's not a lot of that. I mean, there's some, let's be honest. Being the former coach there, he has a bias. We all have bias.
And more than that, his son's now the head coach. So, I mean, it's double-edged sword there.
Yeah. 7-11 in conference, 17-16, no way. But a close loss to Houston, which Houston was number 1 at the time. Okay. Blown out by Michigan, but they beat St. John's. They also they beat Arkansas, which people really, really like. And by the way, they beat Florida.
Yeah, I do think it was that 7-11 record in the conference that knocked them out. But you could also say, Shep, you could turn around and say, didn't the SEC get the most bids? I think they got 10 bids.
They got 10 bids.
It's the strongest, at least by that number, it's the strongest conference in America.
Right. Big Ten got 9. Yeah. Their loss to Ole Miss at the end of the regular season is what killed them. Yeah. They've got some impressive wins, but they've got some really bad losses. Let's get to the final results of the poll question from Friday. Friday, we have a poll question for you every single time. Go to XB Mornings, and you can check it out. Despite suffering their first loss, should Miami make the NCAA tournament? Yes or no? That was the Mitch Lineswell poll question. What were the results?
84% said, yep, put them in. 16% said no, they choked.
Well, they were right on the yeses. I'm glad they're in. It's a play-in game, and that's the way it should be because Akron won it, and Akron's a 12 seed. Our poll question for today, who wins the national title? Michigan, Arizona, Duke, or other? How did we do on the daily wager?
I'm not going to lie, Shep. I don't remember getting to it on Friday. I don't have anything written down.
I thought you had Michigan over Purdue. Or not over Purdue. I thought you had Michigan.
Did I have Michigan to cover the 12.5?
Cover the 12.5.
Which they did not. Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. I didn't write that down. Right. My bad.
That's okay.
But today,
what do you got for us tonight?
World Baseball Classic. I like Venezuela a lot in this matchup.
Italy has surprised you though, hasn't it?
Oh, for sure. But I'm not sure if you Tigers fans saw this, but the video of Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez celebrating together. Miggy always just makes me smile. So I don't know. For no other reason than that, I'm going to stay away from the Wings tonight because they've bit me a lot in the last couple weeks. So I'll take Venezuela to beat Italy tonight.
Okay, well, that's
8 o'clock.
The daily wager. Brought to you this time by DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting and built for March. DraftKings Sportsbook, delivering the most generous rewards in the market because it's not a tournament you bet and forget. It's one that you react to. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen. You're betting what's happening. Possession by possession, play by play, live lines, props, next play outcomes as the chaos unfolds. Bet it. New to DraftKings, bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the code HUGE, turn $5 into